Okay, so now what we're going to do is review difference of squares. So the first thing we want to do is list our perfect squares up to 10. Perfect squares are like 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, and so on. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. So let's list that. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 squared, 16, 5 squared, 25, 6 squared, 36, 7 squared, 49, 8 squared, 64, 9 squared, 81, 10 squared, 100. It can go on forever. And then the rule for the factoring, they tell us that if you're given something that looks like this, x squared minus y squared, you're going to factor it into parentheses x plus y, x minus y. So all these, 3, 4, 5, and 6, are all difference of squares. We know that they're difference of squares because 36 is a perfect square, 25 is a perfect square, and it has a minus in between. So it's in the form of x squared minus y squared. When it's in the form of x squared minus y squared, we get to use this formula right here. To be able to do the formula, we need to know what x is and what y is. Once we know what x is and what y is, it's just a simple plug and chug. So, I know that this is x squared minus y squared. It's in that form. So, x squared is equal to the first one, 36w squared. I need to find out what is x. So, to review, to get rid of an x squared, to get rid of that exponent, we have to square root both sides. So the square root of x squared is x. So now what I have to do is square root this. The square root of 36, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the square root of w squared is w. It's the square root of what you do is divide it by 2. The exponent by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So 6w. All right, the next piece that you need to do is figure out what your y is equal to. Well, I know y squared is equal to 25. So to find what y is, we need to square root both sides. The square root of y squared is y. Square root of 25 is 5. So now that I know what x and y are, I can plug it in right here. It is in the form of x plus y, x, 6w, plus y, so x plus y is 5. And then x, which is 6w, minus y, which is 5. There's our answer for this one. So your steps are to distinguish what's your x squared, what's your y squared, find your x and y by square rooting, and then plug it in. So let's do number 4. All right, so number 4, we've got, this is my x squared, this is my y squared. So let's do it right here. X squared is equal to 1 over 144. So to find out what x is equal to, we need to square root both sides. So square root, and you got to square root both the top and the bottom individually. The square root of x squared is x. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 144 is 12. I just have that memorized. You could put it in the calculator and get that. Now we need to do y. So y squared is equal to r to the 6th, s to the 4th. So to find out what y is, we have to square root everything. The square root of y squared is y. Now the square root of r to the 6th is r to the 3rd. Simply just divide it by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. All right, and then the square root of s to the 4th is going to be s squared. Okay, so now that we know what x and y are, we get to just plug it into this formula right here. So our answer is going to be, I'm going to write it here because I'm kind of running out of room. So x plus y, which is 1 over 12, 1 over 12 plus r cubed s squared, and then the same thing again, but with a minus. 1 over 12 minus r cubed s squared. This may seem harder than what you remember in Algebra 2, but it's following the same exact process. We just added a little bit extra letters, that's all. Okay, so we can actually skip number 5 and number 6. They are exactly like number 4 and number 3. Okay, so go ahead and we can just cross these puppies out.